I'm going to teach you all swords. Welcome, it's Ken with Flowtricks. I'm going to teach you some sword trick today. I had a request to spin some swords, and so I'm going to give a couple techniques. We're going to derivate a little bit outside of nunchucks, yet still use nunchuck moves to teach you that the techniques that you learn, which there's hundreds of them right now that I have, but you can use those techniques to spin other things, and you should. Before we begin, I just want to thank Dark Monk and Flow Toys for their awesome sponsorship and support. And also want to let you know that even if you don't see videos on YouTube, I'm still releasing videos every week on Patreon. I make sure that I've got to cover my bases first with the donors, the people that keep me going. And then when I have extra time, I definitely want to add on to YouTube. I know it's been a while, so hope you all are doing well. And let's go ahead and just get over this technique. Let me show you how this works. Okay, so it's not really a technique, it's a combo. It's going to look like this. There's a lot of variations that we can do with this combo, but I think it looks great, and it's actually nunchuck moves that we've translated over into sword. Now, with the sword, if you want to think about it, when you have a chuck, right, and this is with all props, everything is related. I mean, because physics are physics, right? Everything is related. So when I think of a sword, I think of a nunchuck that can't move anymore. You know, it's like a stick. I do not have a real sword on me right now, and I would not recommend using one with a blade, obviously, but if you had like a dual training sword, this is my fire sword. I use this a lot. Like I might have two of them and use them in fire shows, so this is what I'm going to use today. You want to know where the balance point is. A good sword will kind of have the balance point somewhere slightly ahead of the handle, but if the balance point is too high, like let's say this was a big heavy ball or there's a lot of weight, it's going to cause a lot of forward weight, which is going to exert a lot of energy. Usually those are not the kinds of swords that you want to use. You want to use it where the balance point is closer to where your hands are, but not right on it. You don't want it in the middle either. You want it slightly ahead. This will help you with throws. It'll keep a nice momentum. Just like with nunchucks, if you're slightly behind the balance point, you have a little bit more control with the throws. For this move, there's 3 different techniques that we're going to work on, and all of them are nunchuck techniques. So you might know how to do this, but now we can use this with a sword. If you don't have a sword, you can use a staff as well. This can work with a bow staff, as well as an eskrima stick, or any of that. So here's what we're going to do. To first practice, we're going to start with the easiest throw, which is basically we're holding this in a front grip, and I'm holding the sword kind of downward, and the goal of this throw is to focus my attention on the handle, not the sword. So the smallest part is where I'm focusing on. So as I do this upward flick, I'm paying attention to this, and I'm trying to get this to spin 360 degrees. So just go ahead and see if you can do that. Whoosh. Get it 360 degrees. See if you can kind of control and grab it with one hand first, just like this, to see that you can control this handle. You may have to spot it, and that's okay. Just keep your eyes on this handle. And then the next thing you're gonna do, once you got a general idea, look at where you're catching it most of the time. So right now, my hand is catching it mostly here. You might catch it a little bit more out here. That's where you're gonna have to adjust your left hand. Until you have more control over the sword, you're gonna kind of wanna catch it where your right hand was catching it. Soon you have control. And then what you're gonna do is, I like to kind of cross my arms. I just think it looks nice aesthetically. And then you're gonna give it an upward pop, and you're gonna see if you can just catch it with the other hand like that. So whoosh, catch, whoosh, catch. There's a lot of different variations with this kind of catch. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can catch this. You don't even have to cross your arms. You know, I just think it looks aesthetically better. So there's some style that you can add to this. Now, obviously, when you catch it, there's a lot of different moves that you can get to or come from, but the one we're going to do today is going to be like a front to front throw. So number 2 is like a front to front throw. Now, just like the chucks, a front to front throw is good if you're slightly behind the balance point of even the sword, just like the nunchuck. You're going to give it an upward pop. Now this requires a bit more force than a nunchuck. So if I only throw it slightly, it's going to move very slowly and awkwardly to my other hand. And we need to give it it needs to give at least a bit of a rotation. So I usually generally have to give it like a bit more pop. This one goes a little bit faster, but now what I'd like to see you do is basically we're going to hold it like this. We're going to open up our fingers, and the thumb is going to be pinching onto the sword, and we're going to push this straight up. Right before we release, we give it a very sharp pop and open up. Whoosh. And that will take it into the air. Now what you're focusing to look on is how hard you have to pop this sword to get how many X amount of rotations. You have to learn the balance of how hard you have to pop it. So practice that for a while, and eventually what you're going to see is, and again, all you're doing is you're spotting the handle. You'll be able to eventually see where that handle is, and we're going to grab it in an underhand grip. So the goal is we pop it up this way, it's going to rotate past the hand once, and then as it comes down, we're going to grab it. And the third part is the easiest. So practice this for a little bit. Boom. So we got boom, boom. The last part is we just reverse the direction. So we're in a back grip, but now we're twisting it the opposite way. And we're essentially trying to get this to spin through, and we grab it over the top and we're back to the start. So it's back grip to a front grip. Again, back grip, lift it up. It's going to be kind of the same thing, except for it's going the opposite direction and catch. The nice thing about this one is if you give it a nice, you can be really relaxed. This one does not require a lot of force. You just kind of lift your hand up and let the momentum take itself and wait for it and grab. And then all together, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You can do different variations with it too, of course. Got that one. You can do different variations with that, but I think that's really great, especially when you're just like playing around with different, you know, yeah, there's a lot of different variations. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to start teaching other props or thoughts, or if you have any questions about what you'd like to learn. I feel like I've taught so much nunchucks over 10 years. I mean, there's hundreds of techniques out there. But again, if you want more, I'm always doing Patreon too. I gotta cover those guys first because, you know, they're supporting Flotrix. And then as soon as I can, I try to make YouTube videos. But man, I am just like busy. I own my own business doing performing, and it's been taking off quite well. Don't forget, I have an Instagram too. Look me up, ken.flotrix on Instagram, and you can follow my adventures there. Otherwise, yeah, let me know what y'all are up to, and I hope you enjoy this combo.